sometimes we would want to execute a piece of functionality before a test is ran, and sometimes we want to execute some functionality after a test is ran. And we can do that in React Testing Library through hooks. Now what we can do is specify a hook either in the top level or inside the describe block. If we put it in the describe block, it is only going to apply to the tests inside of that describe block. So if you want to really specify the test that should have this extra functionality before the test or after the test, then what you're going to be doing is putting it inside of the describe block. Now in here, what we can do is add the hook. Now what is the hook? Well, if we do before, you can see here that we have the before each hook. And here, what we can do is pass in a callback that is going to have all of the logic that we want to run. So in here, we can have console.log, and then we can say running before each test. So this is running before each test. And just for the sake of this test, let's just duplicate this over here. So now we have 3 tests. So I'm going to go ahead and save this. And we should see a console.log. So we see here that we have, let's scroll all the way up. We have running before each test. We have then our test being ran. And then over here we have running before each test, our test being ran, running before each test, our test being ran. We also get this error that we can fix if we go to footers.list and provide an index. So over here, let's just provide a key that is an index just so we can get rid of this error. All right, so again, if we go back over here, we can clearly see running before each test, running before each test, running before each test. But sometimes we want to run a piece of functionality once before every test. Well, to do that, what we have to do is go to our code, and here we use not before each, but before all. And so this is only going to run once before each, all the tests. So over here, we can say running once before all tests. So if we were to save this, again, let's go back to the terminal. You can see here running once before the all tests, and then here running before each test, running before each test, running before each test. Now similarly to the before each and the before all, we have some other hooks called after each, and you can imagine what this is going to do. So this is going to, let's just console.log here, running after each test. Again, let's just do a quick look over here in terminal. So we're running once, that's the before each. Then we have running by each test. Or I meant to say before here. What am I doing? Before each test. Running before each test. So here we have running once, running before each test, running after the test, and then running before each test, running after the test, running before, and then running after. The last thing I want to talk about is the after all, and this runs once after all of the tests have been successfully ran. So let's just copy this, and then over here, running once, or maybe ran once is probably a better description. Ran once, and then after all tests. So probably get the gist of what this is going to do. You can see here we have the before each, we have the before all, before each, after each, and then over here we have the after all. So there's a lot of times where you might want to do this. Maybe we have a bunch of tests that have very, very similar functionality. And so what we could do is we can place that functionality in a before each hook. Similarly, maybe we want to clean up our tests, so we can maybe put that functionality in the after each hook. All right, so that pretty much concludes it, and that pretty much concludes the lecture. So thank you very much for taking this crash course with me. I really appreciate it if you made it this far, and hopefully you guys learned a lot with React Testing Library. Thank you so much to the Net Ninja for having me do this crash course. Hopefully I made you and your audience proud, and I would love to be back if you guys enjoy this content. So thank you very much. I'll see you guys later.